Hello, everyone. This is me. I am here. It's Tuesday, so it's podcast time. Been shooting these. I hope the people who listening, I guess they can hear me all right. This looks like it's good. And I'm shooting this. And not feeling well, but I must keep this schedule because I don't know how long I got on this earth, on this planet. And every day that I go out to the store, I realize I don't have a lot. I might not have a long time if something doesn't change, and it don't look like much is changing. So I need to do as much work as I can do, and leave as much behind as I can leave. That's all I can do at this point. Also, with the minor support that I get, small number of subscribers, no Patreon patrons, only a few people on my Substack, that's not sustainable. So I know my time is limited. So I'm going to do as much work as I can. Keep the schedule as much as I can. So bear with me, my throat is a little sore, but we're going to work through it. We're getting info from my dictionary of psychology, my old trusty dictionary. I am always using either this or this. I'm always using one of these two. So, because we need to understand what concepts are. And we're going to talk about, and I'm going to ask you, are you delusional? And we're going to try to figure out if we are delusional. We must be honest with ourselves. So, let's go. Definition: delusional. Characterizing the condition of one who suffers from delusions. Now let's move up and see what delusion means. A false belief that cannot be modified by reasoning or a demonstration of the facts. Persistent and systematic delusions are characteristic of psychotic states. Delusion should be distinguished from illusion, which is a distorted perception, and from hallucination, which is a false perception. So now let's deal with this. Are you delusional? If you believe that you can leave behind 60% of our society, which is living at or below the poverty line, and not give them some kind of stipend to function, you're delusional. And this is mostly the people with power. If you believe and you're a politician that you don't have to create policies that stabilize the public square, the public spaces, you're delusional. If you think that you can just shrug your shoulder and say, I don't do politics, I don't get involved, and don't think that it's going to come back to you, you're delusional. Why do you think your rent is going up? It's public policy. Why do you think mortgage is out of reach? It's public policy. Public policy can. Did you know there was once a public policy that the federal government would build federal housing for working class people, and they stopped it and destroyed it, and Biden and Mayor Eric Adams won't bring it back? That's politics. Okay, you're delusional. If you believe that you're going to cut people off of SNAP and they're just going to sit and go hungry and not go into the store and take what they need, you're delusional. You're delusional. I know, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, this thing here, I know without the proper support that I'm not getting, that I don't have much time left. I'm not delusional at all. I'm fortunate to have the few people in my corner that I do have, and to have this short period of stability as far as my housing that I do have because of public policy. Right? So I'm not delusional. But if you believe that you can build a whole society on money, getting money, making money, spending money, keeping money from others, and money is not based on anything, and that society will be healthy, you're delusional. You build a society on culture, principles, standards, and real concepts, reality-based concepts, or just concepts, period. And you want the concepts that are more constructive than destructive, because you can go both ways with concepts. There's greed, there's sharing, there's selflessness and selfishness, right? There's indifference and there's empathy. They're both real. So you want to lean more towards the empathetic, selfless, more social oriented, spreading resources around, because it creates stability. When you lean that way, you don't have people sleeping on the train, coughing and blowing their nose all over the place, defecating and urinating everywhere. You don't have them sleeping on the sidewalks, on the benches, in the parks, under trees, and all these kinds of things. You don't have the mentally ill people roaming the streets, attacking people at random, right? And not being investigated because it costs $300,000 to lock someone up. And this is another thing. If you think that the police are going to arrest somebody for stealing Pampers and food and diapers and pay $300,000, that a mayor is going to pay $300,000 to lock that person up for stealing $300 worth of stuff, you're delusional. So all you retail workers, oh, and by the way, putting your products behind glass, if you think that that's going to stop anybody from taking what they need, you're delusional. You're delusional. Let's get a little heavier and deeper. I might make some people mad with this, but let's do it. If you think you can have personal relationships and hold people individually responsible out of the context of the society we live in, the era we live in, the lack of culture we live in, you're delusional. Sorry, you're delusional. You just are. If you think as a guy that you can really create develop a relationship with a significant other based on looks, based on hair, nails, and eyelashes, you're delusional. We're human beings. The human brain has been studied for centuries, and they still don't even know how it works. They have no idea the complexity of all of our body parts, just the physical body. We're not even dealing with consciousness and what it means or what it doesn't mean, if it exists, if it doesn't, what is it all about? And you want to talk about long hair versus short hair? You want to talk about, does he level me up? Can he help me pay a bill? And why I don't have nobody? These men ain't no good because they can't help me pay a bill. Are they no good because they can't help you pay a bill? Or is the social context such that they need a separate system from the one that's blocking them to help you pay the bill? I've never known a black man that didn't want to help his woman. but we can't do it the tradition. We can't do it the way everybody else does it. Matter of fact, only one group can do it the way some of these black women are demanding. Okay, so that's not going to happen. So you can talk about the manosphere, and it's stupid. It is. And all this leveling up is stupid. It is. It's all ridiculous. It's all delusional. Okay? And if you're caught up in that stuff, if it's entertaining to you and you laugh at it, fine. Because when I come across it, I just think it's I just get the popcorn out because it's so ridiculous. And I like that kind of humor too. I like things like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, things like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I like that kind of absurd, over the top humor. So all this stuff with the manosphere and all this stuff with leveling up, it's hilarious. But if you actually believe in this stuff, you're delusional. Here's another deeper thing. Might make you angry. But if you believe that your religious story is the only acceptable one and the others are not, you're delusional. Now you can say, I don't believe the others are correct. But you have to, if you have one, you have to say, if mine's is possible, theirs is possible. It's just not as good for me. That's one thing. But if I believe that a man was walking around, healing people, died, preached in hell, rose up, came back to life, and then went up into the heavens, into the heavenly realm, if that's possible, then a person on another planet that blew up psychologists is possible. An entity, or whatever they call it. Another entity that talked to a man in a cave and gave him spiritual teachings is possible. Anything is possible if your thing is possible. And to me, have an open mind. That's one of the reasons I can never get bogged down in one religion or not. The only one at this point, to be honest, that I could really get into that really touches on anything is Buddhism. Because it's not restrictive, and it's not, in a way, it holds people back. Everybody's invited. And that appeals to me. And so I read a lot of Buddhist stuff, but I read a lot of Christian stuff. I'm a Black American. Of course, I was born and brought up Christian. Almost all of us are. And if you came later, Christian or Muslim, right? So, but more likely Christian. So, of course, I read the Gospels, and there's lessons in it. But I don't shut anything off. I've read Dianetics, right? They had these little volumes, and I was reading each volume, so I read through that. So I read all this stuff, and if you believe that you have the truth when it comes to spirituality, and everybody else doesn't exist, now you could say they might be wrong, but you can't say none of that's possible. Only my story. That's delusional. You're in a world with 8 billion people. Come on. Don't be delusional. There's a lot of delusions. If you believe that all these drug addicts that are just all over the place are not going to have some kind of effect on the public institutions, you're delusional. Here's a simple one that this seems to be across this country. If you believe that you can keep closing public bathrooms and that homeless people will just hold it, you're delusional. They're going to use the bathroom wherever. Open the public bathrooms. See, this is the kind of simple stuff that when you're delusional, you can't behave well. Things fall apart when people delusional are in control. Things fall apart when people are delusional, are carrying out acts. So this is why I think this video is very important. This podcast is very important. Are you delusional? And you have to ask yourself, man, or am I delusional? Am I? There's not 8 billion realities. There's one objective reality, and we see it from different points of view. If you believe your truth is the only truth, and that person has a truth, and that person has a truth, you're delusional. That's not how it works. I hear it, and it just makes me like, what is it? What are you talking about? There's one truth, one reality, and we're all trying to find it. We're all trying to look at it from different angles. And if you're not delusional, you can actually look at a real thing from different angles. You'll never see all of it. You know, some objective realities are very easy to see, but you'll never see it from every single angle. That's where you hit multiple views from the angles, not the reality and the truth itself. Right? One of the first things we learn in science is every action has an equal or greater reaction. If you think you can behave any way you want, any way you feel like at any given moment, and there's not going to be a reaction, you're delusional. You're delusional. Right? I'm talking about small acts to large acts. I went to have keys made in the hardware store the other day, and I gave the guy the money, and he throws my change on the counter. If he thinks that I'm going back in that store, he's close to where I'm at. I'll walk a mile not to go to his store. There's a supermarket that I go to in Far Rockaway. And one day I was walking in, and all these white women walked in with their bags, but the guy stopped me and made me check my bag. Right? And then I walked in for a minute. I said, nah, I'm out. And then I came out and I said, give me my bag, man, because I'm sick of this shit. This is racist. Everybody can walk through with their bags with me. And the Spanish kid just looked at me and kind of put his head down. And I never been in there. I never bought anything from that place since. And it's close to the people I visit. It's close to them, but I go way down to another store and get my groceries. And they're always like, "Why you go all the way down there?" I told y'all, I'm not going back there. Every action has an equal or greater reaction. How you treat people matters. What you do for and to people, and what you don't do for and to people, it matters. Because inaction is an action too. When you let people suffer, that's an action. That's what I'm saying. If you believe that we just gonna let these people just lay all over the place, and there's not gonna be it's not gonna spill over and explode, you're delusional. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. And to be honest, and to be fair to people, this might seem like I'm putting people down, but a lot of us know it's coming. Matter of fact, almost all of us know it's coming. You can see now when I walk in the store, it's very tense. Everybody knows it's getting ready to go down. We don't know what day it is. We don't know what's going to spark it. We don't know. But it's a lot of awful stuff happening. And we don't know what that event is going to be. Like, you didn't know George Floyd was going to be the thing. We had so many shootings. We had Eric Garner. But it was us being home, and the way he did it, and the way the police officer was looking with that satisfaction and the joy he had smothering the man's life, taking it, is that we don't know what it's going to be. It could be the killing of a child. It could be anything, right? So we all know it's coming. We just don't know when. And it could be 5 years from now. I doubt it, but it could be 5 years from now. It could be tomorrow. But it feels like it's more going to be like closer to tomorrow or tonight. I could go to bed and wake up and the whole thing, we don't know. right? Because you got to remember with time zones, if it's 11 o'clock or midnight, something happens at 9 o'clock in California and blows up. You in bed, you can wake up in the morning and boom. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of some more delusions, but you get the point. And what you have to start asking yourself is you have to look around you. I know a lot of people say, I don't want to look around me. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to see it. I don't watch the news. I don't. But, and the news can be bad. I'm thinking about putting out a journal. Maybe I'll put out another little journal, Journalism 101, where I take a situation and ask questions so that people can know how to do basic journalism or even know how to watch it and what they should be looking for. So we'll see. So ask yourself, look around, look at it, and ask yourself, what does this all mean? How did we get here? Who's responsible? Who's pressing the levers? And if you don't care about the human stuff and you just want to do the consciousness stuff, that's fine. But understand that your human reality is going to be bumpy if you don't deal with it. Okay, because we're still in these bodies and we're still on this planet for now. Now, if you figure out a way to get your conscious mind to get out of here, fine. Right? And you should document it so the rest of us can get the hell out of here too. If you want to be selfless. But the thing is, I want everyone to understand these definitions, understand these concepts, and I want you to be awake and aware and not be delusional. It's not healthy. Life is hard either way, but it is going to be more difficult to enjoy life when you're delusional, because everybody around you has to be delusional all together, all at the same time. And most people reality is forcing us to come in and out of delusion. So that's the way it is. And I just want you to be more healthy than not, if that's possible. Right? There's another thing. When you talk about health, they just threw 1 million people off of Medicaid. And you think that's not going to have some kind of effect? You're delusional. Right. And this man sitting in the White House who doesn't know what day of the week it is, the people around him, his staff, actually believes that he's going to run and win. They're delusional. And if he does run and win, then we're in worse trouble. We're in worse condition than even I know. And I'm pretty much tied in. If he runs and he wins, it means they either did something really, really vile to get him in, or the majority of the people in this society just don't give a damn on any level anymore. Because if that's what you pick to represent you, and you're not fighting against that in some way, if you're just shrugging your shoulders going along and that's acceptable, we're in big trouble. That's why he can't win. And the empty careerers he picked to be under him, she can't win any either. She can't win anything. And I don't care who you put up against them. They're losing. And if you think this funny looking guy from Florida who's banning books and banning certain lifestyles, if you think that he can't win in a society that's very violent, very racist, very angry, and very ignorant, which this society is, if you think that he can't win, and if you think that he won't make this society over into something that we've seen into another fascist era, or take us into another fascist era, you're delusional. He's doing it. People are primed. You would be surprised. Maybe you wouldn't be surprised. The things I hear coming out of people's mouths when I'm on the subway, in the bus, or I'm just walking, or I'm on the line, the things coming out of their mouths, the things in private conversations that people are saying, that you'll be like, damn, that's a really conservative viewpoint. Damn, that's what you think? And even if some of these people can't vote, you're like, but damn, but they would sit aside and let the society go this route. So that's another thing you have to think about. Don't be delusional. I know you believe that it's tougher to just, reality is just too much to deal with, but I'm telling you, at this point, you got to deal with it. I mean, because it's going to force you one way or the other. And doing this and thinking that no one can see you, it's not good. It's not good. Until Thursday, I will see you. And if nothing doesn't jump off, or even if something does jump off, please take care of yourself and be safe.